Well, praise the Lord and welcome to another live broadcast of Better Life Lessons. I'm Dr. Stephen L. Pettis, Senior Pastor here at Better Life Faith Church International, the ministry that teaches you a better way of living. And as always, those of you, if you desire prayer at this time, you can give us a call. As the phone number appears across the screen, we have our daily Better Life prayer warriors who are just waiting to touch and agree and believe God for your miracle and for your breakthrough. And in fact, if this is your very first time viewing us, we welcome you. So let's welcome this national and international audience. Praise the Lord. I was just thinking earlier that we're just only really a couple weeks, few days away, and we're going to be exiting 2018, going into 2019. So I want to just personally take this time to thank all of you viewing us for this entire year. Thank you. Praise God. Well, tonight's broadcast is going to be a special night, special teaching, and I'm going to start off by teaching something that I've taught in the past, and I think it's befitting for this season. And I titled this "A Happy You for the Holidays." A happy you for the holidays. And as I said, some of you know I've talked about this subject. I think I first began several years back. Now, why am I teaching this? Even though this is a different year, but with many, it's still the same cycle. Now, where do I start? Why am I calling this a happy you for the holidays? Statistics report that more people fall into some sort of depression towards the end of every year than any other time during the year. Studies also say that many of them are lonely. They have feelings of disconnection, which in turn causes them to not even want to be around other people. And this happens mostly towards the end of the year, which is generally around the holiday season. In other words, many of them become antisociable. And studies tell us that withdrawal is a symptom of depression. And I quote that someone wrote, says these individuals may see other people spending time with friends and family, and then they ask themselves, why can't that be me? Or why is someone else so much happier than I am? Then for many people, holidays are a painful reminder of what once was, especially for people who've experienced significant losses, such as the death of a loved one, or marriage breakup, or relationship breakup. Now, are all of those emotions real? Yes, they are. Do these people hurt? Are these emotions painful? Absolutely. So now, why do I ask this? Because when you're emotionally hurt, doesn't matter who you are, it will affect your decisions, and it's going to affect your outlook in life. So now, how do I overcome this stage, or how do I overcome this period in my life, regardless of maybe how painful it feels? Well, I start by doing what Deuteronomy 30:19 says. It says, I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I've set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. So in other words, the first thing I've got to do is I've got to make a decision to live. So you've got to make a decision to live. Now, with that being said, and this is very important that we all ask ourselves, how do we define living? What does it mean to live? What does living mean to you? Now, I understand everybody has different answers, but let me tell you what living is not. Living is not just because you wake up every day with a heartbeat. That doesn't mean you're living. And I remember my dad told me this many, many years ago. He said, live, don't just exist. So because one wakes up every single morning does not mean that they're living. Some people are just existing. You see, life without purpose is not living. And I stress that because it's really vital that you know what real living truly is. What is real living? In other words, what is it that excites you? What is it that excites and encourages and uplifts you? What is it that stimulates you to want to be in a position for the gifts and the talents that's been stored within you to want to come out, to be exposed and experienced? Hallelujah. You see, living with purpose, and I learned this years ago, living with purpose is what motivates you to get up every morning and take on each day. So when you live with purpose, that's your motivation of getting up every morning regardless of things that's going on around you. But when one lives with purpose, that's their motivation that causes them to get up every morning and take on the next day. Hallelujah. So now the first step is making a decision. And I've taught for many, many years on the power of a decision. So this verse in Deuteronomy 30:19 is basically saying, when you choose to live today, your future will have life to it. See, that's why decisions are so powerful. See, in other words, whenever you want to change something in your life that affects you directly, you're the only one that can change it. Now, how do I change it? By making a decision. Now, what are some biblical steps to this? First of all, if we hold on too tight to our emotions and how we feel, it's because of fear. Fear. See, remember, anything outside of the umbrella of faith falls under the umbrella of fear. And I say that because sometimes you just have to locate your fear. Every now and then I'll ask people certain things when they're indecisive about something. What are you afraid of? And this could be with any of us. Locate your fear. You see, holidays are depressing to some because of fear. Because some fear the lack in their life. In other words, parents can fear that they can't provide enough gifts for their children. While others can fear loneliness, not being married or not having someone to love. And that's generally why they don't like to see others who are happy. And it's not that they're bad people, because for the most part, they hate that they feel that way. Then some even fear that their best years are behind them. There are some people who their spouse may have died, and they're afraid to love again. Afraid to love again. Afraid to love someone or let someone else love them. In many of these cases, it's the fear of letting go. Or some feel that they're betraying the memory of that former spouse. You see, letting go of the past doesn't mean you're erasing the past. See, there are a lot of people who are just afraid of letting go of what was, So it's not erasing the past, because history is important. History has its place. History is foundational. It's important, but history has no future, because the past doesn't have seed. Seed only exists in the present. That's what that Deuteronomy 30:19 is about. And you see, anything without a future will die. Everything in the past is finished. None of us can go back into yesteryear and change it. This is even why scriptures like Isaiah 43:18 says, "Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. But behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth, shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." See, that's powerful. See, this is not only a command to move forward, but life doesn't exist in the past. Life moves forward. The Apostle Paul even wrote in Philippians 3:13, "Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before." In other words, the past is always behind you. The future is always before you. So what do I got to do? I've got to let go of the past. You see, you leave the past, but the future is waiting on you to get there. And what you find in your future is based on you. So it goes back to that Deuteronomy 30:19. Did I choose to live? Or am I still choosing the lifeless past? You see, when you choose life, you're choosing to move forward. Then when God said, "I'll do a new thing," the only way you can receive it is when you move forward. New things can only be found in the future. In other words, something you've never had before. Something you've never had before is not in the past, but it's only in the future. So why am I saying this? Because the holidays doesn't have to be a sad, depressing time for anybody. So the first step is I got to make a decision. Then along with that decision, then I've got to make myself accountable to that decision. That's why it's important to have strong people around you. So in other words, it's important to have certain people around you to keep you accountable. See, we all need somebody in our life to keep us accountable to the decisions we made. Hallelujah. See, that's one of the signs when you can tell somebody really trying to do something, because they have an accountability system. And usually that comes in the form of other people. Keep me accountable to the decision I made. That's what the world called in AA meetings sponsors. It's all about accountability. So I need somebody around me to keep me accountable to the decisions I've made. So now, how do I continue to make myself accountable? Jesus said something in John 14:1. He said, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me." Another translation says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled, distressed, or agitated." In other words, don't allow yourself You know, don't allow yourself to be put in a position that you know can trouble you. You see, because being happy or sad is a choice. You choose to be happy.
Yes, amen.
On the same token, you choose to be sad. Now, I know people say, well, I don't want to be, but that choice is up to you. Because that's why I say, don't allow, let not your heart be, don't allow yourself to be in a position that you know can trouble you. Don't allow yourself to be in a position that can cause you to become sad. And then also don't depend on others to make that happen. You do it. Acts 26:2 says, I think myself happy. Think yourself happy. So you got to ask yourself, do I know how to think myself happy? Now this is nothing deep about it. Just think about something that's happy. Because happiness is a state of mind. You know, think about, get happy thoughts. You know, what makes me happy? You know, if a slice of cheesecake will make me happy, eat the cheesecake and then finish it up by getting on the treadmill. See, because I know some folks that get into depression and just die. No, I won't say do all that. But if that make you happy, you know, amen. Then the Bible even gives an answer in Philippians 4:8. When it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. But one translation says, fix your mind on these things. In other words, stop thinking about crazy stuff that will keep you mad, keep you sad, keep you depressed, you know. And then on the same token, don't spend your holidays around people who are sad, mad, bitter, unhappy, and depressed. You know. Another thing I've taught for many years is the power of environment. And we know the environment will swoop you up before you change it. You know. What's the scripture in 1 Corinthians about bad communications corrupt good manners? You know. So now if I'm trying to think on things that are good and keep myself good for the holidays, then I don't need to be around depressing people. Then there's some other things that you can do for yourself, you know, around this time of year. Like I said, it's a different year, but with many it's the same cycle. You know, different year. You have some folks who get, like I say, statistics, majority of people, they get sad and depressed around this, towards the end of the year. Whether it's 2018 or whether it was 1978. Different year, same cycle. But I want to break that cycle. So there are some things you can do for yourself. Start doing something different. You know, I remember teaching this some time ago. I forget where I was at, but when people, how do you deal with certain dates that make you sad? Like if you lost a loved one and then it's their birthday and this or that. You know, that's why I'm not, and I know nobody write me no ugly letters. That's why as Christians and believers, I don't believe in going in grave sites and all of that. Don't write me. If you're a Christian, that's your Bible. So instead of reminding myself of when certain days and come around that causes me to get sad, create a new memory. Create a new memory. So don't just always think, oh, when this particular day comes up, this is when Uncle Bubba went to jail. or this is when my dog left, or whatever. Create a new memory. Do something different. You know, instead of remembering the hurt, create some new memories. So instead of being sad around particular times of the year, create something different. A new memory. And then you all of a sudden say, oh, on this day, hey, I remember I did such and such. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen overnight, but you create a new memory. See, we got to learn to stop celebrating sadness. Amen. Keep adding coal to the fire. So I need to create something that's going to give me a happy harvest. So I've got to be determined to not only just be happy for the holidays, but to have a happy you for the rest of your life. Jesus told us in John 10:10, and I close with this. He said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. In one translation, he says, I came that you might have and enjoy life, have it in abundance to the full till it overflows. So I'm telling you, wherever you're at, around the world, this holiday season, don't be sad. You know, a happy you for the holidays. You know, a happy you for the holiday. You don't have to be sad. And sadness may be around you. But you know what? Don't participate. Don't participate in the depression. Don't participate in the sadness. Hallelujah. God bless every heart. Now, on that note, speaking of happy for the holidays, we are just a few days away on December the 21st. On Friday night, all roads for this season is going to lead right here at Better Life Faith Church International, 5401 West Lake Street, right here in the great city of Chicago, for our biggest holiday event of the year. It's our annual Christmas Spectacular Spectacle. This is a free event. It's open to the public. So if you're anywhere near here, you need to be here on December 21st, 7 o'clock p.m. There's going to be plenty of prizes and gifts and giveaways. I believe some toys are going to be given away, different things like that. We're going to be playing the Let's Make a Deal game show. So we ask those of you who come to try to bring something with you, a little unusual that you normally don't carry with you, you know, like a number 4 pencil. Or a pen that doesn't write. Now, a lot of us have that. I shouldn't say that because we, you know, but something unusual. If you're not sure what the Let's Make a Deal is all about, you can watch it on television to get a little glimpse of that. So we're going to be doing that. And let me tell you something. I'm going to let you some real nice prizes, giveaways. That's all I'm going to say on that. Some of these gifts, you might need some help taking it. All right. Then the entertainment this year is second to none. We've got spectacular performances. We're going to have professional jugglers here, comedians here, magicians here. Of course, the service can't be right without someone singing, so we're going to have choirs here singing the songs of the season. And then we're going to cap it off with our annual holiday lip sync battle. So we're going to crown a champion this year for our lip sync battle. It's going to be just a fun time. Obviously, you'll be able to take pictures with Santa and all of that. So it's going to be a fun time. I want to see everyone here. This is free. This is free. This is free. I know there are some tickets out there because there are numbers on the tickets that's going to be part of the giveaway, but this is a free event. Free, open to everybody. So that's Friday night, December 21st, right here at Better Life Faith Church International, 5401 West Lake Street at 7 o'clock p.m. So we hope to see you there.